Yes, Enzo, quick question. So are you in the title race? No. As I've said for many a time, we are not in the title race. Why do you keep asking me this? Well, if you just look at the facts, Enzo, you've won so much this season. You've only lost to Liverpool and Man City. So what you are saying is, if we stop winning, then you will stop asking me questions. I will get back to you after this next game. What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and it's been a while since I've had to do one of these reviews. Absolutely just ripping into this team because wow. Obviously, the frustration comes not from the fact that, oh, we dropped 3 points in the title. That's not it. We're not in the title race. We all know this. We've all been saying this. This is an example of why we're not. But to throw away the 3 points like the way we did today, against Everton, you could say it was a difficult condition. Everton did well. They set up well to nullify our attack. They played well against us. This game, we had it in the bag. Fulham are not a bad team. I'm not going to take credit away and say they don't deserve to win, because they showed in the final 30 minutes between Marco Silva and the decisions he made and the players stepping up, they showed they deserved to take 3 points away. We dropped off a cliff at the end of this game. I don't know what happened, but Maresca and the players, they all just said, you know what? We've been winning too much, haven't we? All these questions about the title race, we're in second place. It's a little too much for us. Let's just take our foot off the gas. Let's hit the brakes and let's go ahead and throw 3 points away here. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. It's one thing to lose to a Fulham side who are good this season. It's another thing to throw away the 3 points when we were a goal ahead for most of the match. In the final 30 minutes of the match, we said, here you go, Fulham. Take the 3 points. It was ridiculous. And we will start with Maresca. What's he doing? These past 2 matches, what's he doing? He went from one of the best managers in the Premier League. In my opinion, he looked like the best. Everybody wants to give Slot all this credit. He came into a Liverpool side that were full of winners. Yes, they were bad last season, but Slot came in, implemented a style that suits them more, with some of them getting a bit older, not able to run as much as they did under Klopp originally. Slot comes in, adjusts the system, gets these winners back on top. It's impressive, but it's not huge. It's, hey, we're going to take these good players and get them back to being good players again. Cool. Good for Slot. He's done well this season. Maresca took a team that was a mess. We had so many issues, so many gaps in the team. We had so many players who weren't sure how to deal with it, so many players that were not performing well. He's come in, tactics, he set us up well. As far as the players, he managed to sort through who we want. He's done so much this season, and he's got us up to second place, and it's been hugely impressive. Like, nobody expected this. I definitely didn't. Looking at it, he's been probably the best manager this season, and in the past 2 matches, he's turned into Graham Potter. He has no idea what the hell he's doing, and I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I mean, against Everton, granted, I did say bad conditions, tough team to play against at Goodison. Like, it was a tough game, but I still feel like he didn't really do much to affect it. Made 2 subs, and neither of them really affected the game that much. You get into today, the game was there to be won. I mean, I'm looking at it going, all right, so we're comfortably in the lead, but Fulham are about to make their subs. They have a lot of energy. They get those subs on, it's going to be fresh legs. They're going to keep pushing us. Eventually, we're going to wear down, so we got to get subs to sort of nullify that a bit. And he did nothing to account for that. He did nothing to adjust for, they're coming on with fresh legs. Let's get some fresh legs of our own on there so we can go up against this. None of that. He did absolutely none of that. I'm looking at it, 65 minutes. I'm thinking, all right, we should get Felix on for Sancho. Sancho's not been playing well today. He's not had a good game. He's been kind of nullified on that left side. We get Felix in there. He's going to be a busybody in the midfield. He's going to be running around. He's going to win the ball back for us constantly. He's going to change this game for us. He's going to put us back, because at the time, at 65 minutes, Fulham were starting to step up a little bit. They're starting to get the ball down the field a bit more. They're creating a few more chances. Like, Felix comes on, we're gonna be back in the ascendancy again. And what's also crazy is, at the same time I'm thinking, let's get Felix on for Sancho, I'm also thinking, because Jackson had just missed a chance, not a clear-cut one, but it was one he probably should have done a bit better. I just remember thinking, you also shouldn't sub Jackson off, because not only is that going to kill his confidence, because he's going to leave the pitch without scoring again, which that's going to make it 2 games in a row. I think he scored against Brentford. if I'm not mistaken. But he's clearly lacking in confidence. The way he's playing right now, he's lacking in confidence. He needs to get that confidence back. So you leave him on the pitch so he can get that goal. But not only that, the way he's playing today, outside of his finishing, is really disrupting Fulham's back line. It was allowing us to keep a lot more possession because he was up there being a nuisance. I'm like, if you bring on Nkunku in this game over Jackson, we're suddenly going to see less of the ball because Nkunku's not nearly as good at pressuring the defense, causing them to make mistakes, and getting us the ball back. Or when we do send it long, he's not going to help us keep possession up there. So then Maresca makes that change, and sure enough, it becomes Fulham's game. And they go and score shortly after. And I'm thinking he needs to make a sub now or else we're going to go lose this game. He doesn't. We go on and lose the game. How am I able to see this? And Maresca, who's been on top of his game this season, just... What's happening? What's happening here? I don't see it. What? Could somebody turn on the lights, please? Is that what he's doing? That's the only thing I could think of because it makes no sense. So yeah, Maresca today absolutely bottled it. I place most of it on him because, again, should have made changes. But I'm not going to necessarily give the players a pass because that second goal, that was embarrassing. You got a minute and a half left. You dump it long. Nobody really challenges to win it back. And then it's just a pass, goal. Easy as you like. That was a training session goal for them. We just basically said, all right, 50% defense, now attack, go at it, try to score. That's what you do in training. And our defense just said, yeah, you guys go ahead and have it. Have the 3 points. We don't care. It's funny because I turned off the game, so I didn't watch the replays of it. So I don't know who exactly was at fault because I was too pissed. I might go back and look at it a bit closer whenever I'm editing and just put in here my actual thoughts of who was at fault. But whoever it was individually, it doesn't matter. As a team, that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing the way they just easily passed it. They didn't have to work that hard. I know our defense is crappy. I know we have gaps in defense, and I know it can be easy to play through us at times. We didn't even try to make it hard for them. It was so easy. I mean, the first goal as well. It's pretty simple. Just a simple cross to the back post, which they were having so much joy on today because we struggle with that. And I don't know why we've not fixed that, but teams are going to start recognizing, if you put a cross to the back post, most of the time the fullback and the winger don't do a good job of tracking that runner back there. So they're wide open. We saw it against Everton. Henderson, I think, picked it up at the back post and Sanchez made a good save. The one that Tosa made a block on, cross that, Sanchez did tip it to the guy at the back post, but nobody's over there marking him. And today, there were several times cross goes to the back post, players wide open, easy as you like. And thankfully, they either got across and made a block or Sanchez made a good save. But it happens so often. And all I could think is, why? Why are we not doing anything about it? Who's not making that change? Whether it's the winger tracking back and getting that guy, or whether it's the fullback not stepping so far across. Because one in particular for Anthony Robinson getting on the ball, Gusto was almost next up to Tosin in the middle of the park. Dude, you've got a guy over there. Why aren't you on him? But getting into individuals, I will say first half I wasn't able to fully watch because I was doing stuff with the family. So I did see glimpses here and there. I do feel like I got a good sense of how the first half went because it felt like it was kind of a back and forth, but mostly we had control of it. They would have their flurries forward. They were definitely looking more dangerous on the counter. And I think there were times whenever we were happy to sort of sit back, especially after we got the goal, sit back and try to counter on them because they had a little bit less quality when it was them on the ball trying to move it around with us just sort of sitting in. But for Sanchez, overall, I didn't really see much. Now, granted, the second goal does come from one of his long balls forward that gets lost. But I thought overall today his passing was not as bad as I'm used to seeing it because we were using his feet a lot. And it was one of those games where we were going back to him even when we didn't need to, and that was really frustrating me. But he honestly didn't pass terribly. He had a couple of mistakes here and there, and that's expected for him. But there are some where I'm just sitting there, heart and throat, just why are we doing this? And he managed to actually make a good pass, not lose it. It wasn't awful for both goals. I don't know if there's much he can do on either. They were both basically kind of the same thing where it's cross, back post is free. First one is a header across to a guy who's completely wide open, easily taps it in from 3 yards out. And then the other one, just kind of a back pass to the back post, which it's kind of difficult because he's coming across to get there. And when you're doing that as a keeper and they put it toward the post you just came from, it can be hard to change your direction, get back to get over there. So it's a difficult one. I can't really say I blame him for either of those. So I'm sure some people will look at the pass that led to the second goal and say, well, that's just Sanchez giving a bad pass. But, I mean, he's just clearing it. He's getting it long. I don't know what else you want him to do there. Gusto on the right side, thought could have done a bit better today. I know Iwobi's no pushover. I realize it's a tough ask to defend him, but I still feel like there were a couple moments where he was kind of out of position or defensively was just not quite strong enough. And again, on the ball, whenever that does happen, definitely not the best. Definitely some giveaways expected for him. So overall, I was just pretty disappointed with him. I think the problem is he's nowhere near what we saw from him last season. Some of that is because he's not playing the wingback position we saw from him last season. So having to learn a different style, different formation, and a different position in this new formation, I think it has been rough on him, and I don't think he quite fits what Maresca's trying to do, which is unfortunate because everybody thought he was going to be the next answer to Reece James since James is always hurt. But honestly, looking how Maresca wants to play, I don't think Gusto fits in with what he's trying to do. The problem is I don't know what you would do there. You could put Disasi back there again, but he has his own set of problems. So I don't know if we really have an option that we can put over there. I guess if Fofana comes back, maybe we'll see him again. Or if Lavia comes back, we might see Caicedo in the right back position again. But I definitely think Gusto, he has his issues when he's back there. Tosin, he was back and forth today, made some good defensive blocks, but then there were some times where I felt like way too weak defensively. His challenge was a little too lazy, just that kind of plant. I'm just going to stick my leg out and hope I get the ball. So it was very much a roller coaster match, but his highs were pretty high. He made some really good defensive blocks. He kept us in the game at some points before the goals. And especially against his former club, we saw what happened with Sanchez and Brighton earlier this season. Sometimes we see players overextend themselves and do too much and cause problems in that way. I didn't really see that from him today. It didn't feel like he was overexerting himself and getting pulled out of position too often. Positionally, I thought he was fine today, but yeah, defensively, I think he could have probably done a little bit better. Colwill, I thought, was fine. His passes were probably the best part of his game today. Defensively, it was okay. Held him at bay for the most part. I don't really remember a lot of blocks from him, so he might have when I was just, again, first half when I wasn't really paying attention. Second half, I don't really remember much from him outside of being on the ball. I don't remember where he was for either of the goals. They might be on him, maybe not. Definitely don't feel like I remember his defensive contribution today nearly as much as I did for Tosin. Cucurella, obviously having him back was everybody's key to what we were missing on the weekend against Everton, but as we saw today, not necessarily. He's a good little player. He's a very hard worker, but I will say he came up against two different challenges and don't feel like he passed either of them. I don't think he failed necessarily. Against Traore, he's definitely not built to handle the big, strong, pacey winger that Traore is. Thankfully, Traore is not the best when it comes to the finished product, crossing, passing, shooting, all of that. So when he did get into some dangerous areas, we didn't get hurt from it. But yeah, Cucurella, he really struggled there. He did okay at some points, but I would say on the whole of it, I thought Traore had the slightly better in that battle. But then Harry Wilson comes on, and now it's a different test for him, and one that he typically does not do well against, which is those clever wingers that instead of trying to get on the ball and dribble with it, they will essentially play it and go, or they'll just flick it around you and go. And for Cucurella, as I've said before, he's a little naive when it comes to his defending, so he goes flying in with all this energy, and if the winger's not going to hold on to it, he's beat. And we saw that from Harry Wilson a couple of times where he would just flick it around him and spin out and go. And Cucurella's just gone. Or he would just play it inside to somebody, spin around and go down the wing, and Cucurella is now out of position. So again, it just shows that if you have a winger that's going to dribble, probably going to struggle against Cucurella. But if you have a winger that he plays more 1-2s, he likes to flick it, get into the channel, he doesn't look to try to hold on to the ball for long, Cucurella struggles in those. That's not his forte. He's not really good at reading that and seeing when they're about to do that. He dives in a lot in that case. I also do have to look at both of the headers that he had that were kind of right at the keeper and ask, could he have done a bit better on those? He's not the only one that missed chances, obviously, so I'm not laying into him on that. But Caicedo and Fernandez, probably the only two that I didn't have too much of an issue with today. Now, granted, watching back on the second goal, I might look at both of them and go, what are you doing? So I don't know where they were. But for Caicedo, I mean, he was all over again. He was breaking up stuff in the midfield, especially against a Fulham side that are very pacey. They have a lot of just speed. They get down the field quickly. Caicedo was still there. He was still there putting in challenges. He was still there trying to break up the play. It's what he does well, and he's showing his capabilities with that. And it's unfortunate because I feel like where he and Fernandez had the issues today, like they were not getting beat because of quality, they were getting beat because of quantity. There were just more midfielders in there than they could really deal with at the time. So that was the unfortunate side of things, but for what it's worth, I thought they gave it their all, and I thought they put in a decent shift in there. Fernandez on the ball looked clever. Got out of some tight situations, made some good passes. I think, unfortunately, he was let down by the front four today. And we saw that a little bit against Everton, too. I think right now our front four is just either lacking in confidence or I don't know if Maresca's changed something, but it definitely does feel like right now they're not quite firing. So they're not making the runs that Fernandez is used to making, or when he does get them the ball, they're not doing much with it. But I thought his overall play today looked fine. Onto the wings, I thought Neto, a lot of energy, not much quality, though. He definitely did a good job of getting on the ball, trying to make something happen, but it just felt like there was not real much quality there, when he did get on the ball. And, I mean, worked hard to win the ball back, too. Definitely showed that side of his game. But unfortunately, it was not what we're used to seeing from him. That quality up front, that ability to take on defenders, take it down the line, put in a good cross, all of that. We didn't really see that from him today. A little disappointed there. Sancho, I thought this was probably his worst performance in a Chelsea jersey. I feel like he had a lot of space and time to make things happen, and he didn't. There were several moments where I thought he should have a shot there. He didn't. Tried to do too much with it. Gave the ball away. His passing was not great. His crosses were terrible. He had a couple of shots that he did take that were right at the keeper. So I thought overall his performance today was just not good. Unfortunately, the fact that Maresca didn't sub him off, I feel like that really hurt us. And it kind of, I don't want to say vindicated because it's not like I wanted him to fail, but I did feel like it proved my point whenever he did have that chance that popped right up to him. A free volley at the back post, nobody else around him, and he just puts it right at the keeper. And I'm just thinking, yep, I mean, I'm not saying Felix would have buried it because his finishing is not great either, but the fact that Sancho's still out there and he's wasting these chances for us. There's one, he breaks into the box and he has this time and space to have a shot and he cuts it and looks to pass. That's not an option. So he cuts it again and he cuts it again and he just goes back to Cucurella and then we have to go back to our defense. I'm thinking, why? What are you doing? What are you giving us by doing that? Nothing. You're just keeping possession, but we don't need to just keep possession. We're tied right now. We need to go score and win this. We were ahead. We don't want to throw this away. Palmer had a great goal. I thought it had a pretty good first half from the moments that I saw. Second half, don't really remember much from him. I feel like he sort of faded out of the game, and I don't know if that was just because they focused more attention on him or if it's just because as the game wore on, he kind of ran out of ideas. But yeah, really disappointed with his second half showing. Really feel like he had a chance to show something, a chance to get back into that form that we're used to seeing from him, but he didn't take it. It was very bland from him overall today. And then Jackson, obviously everybody's going to criticize because anytime you lose a game and your striker doesn't score, people are going to start asking questions. But I really think it showed when you brought in Cuckoo on. We lost a lot up there because he is such an energetic striker. He's constantly putting pressure on the defense. He's constantly causing problems. He's in and around the defenders whenever we get the ball up there. They don't have time to think. We keep more possession up there because he's better at getting on the ball and riding a challenge than in Cuckoo. Like, there's so much about his game that helps us when he's up there. And as soon as he comes off and Cuckoo goes on, it was Fulham. It was going to be Fulham. Unless we made another change, which he didn't, it was going to be Fulham. So as much as people want to criticize Jackson today, his overall play, we looked better when he was on the pitch. That's just the facts of it. And if you can't see that, then you need to look a little bit closer because in Cuckoo, going on to him, didn't help us. And I know he's not a striker. I know he's not a 9. I'm not blaming him for being up there. I'm not blaming him for what Maresca did. He's not going to help us up there, and he didn't. And I said it before, but I think Guiu actually suits that style of play, that style of striker that Maresca wants to see up there. I think he suits that position better than Nkunku does. So I know he's young, I know he's raw, but why not give him a go? So with all that being said, it's annoying. It's frustrating. It pissed me off. I'm not saying we have to win every match. I'm not saying that Fulham are not a good team, but when you throw away the match in the manner that we did, whenever you make one sub and then you give away 2 late goals, one basically at the end of the game, and we see what the players are doing, whether it's laziness or whether it's maybe their legs are gone. I don't know. Didn't make hardly any subs in the weekend either. We have only one change for this game. He makes one sub here. Their legs are probably gone. So I can't really say that even the players are fully at fault for the fact that they let in that late goal. I think if Maresca makes the changes that he should, I don't think that we give up that goal. I don't think that we lack the energy at the end of the game to go defend that and make sure we don't drop all 3 points, and we can still at least take a point away from a very respectable Fulham team. So with that being said, we move on. Hopefully Maresca can turn this around and not let this become a bad run of form that all of a sudden puts us out of the top 4, because that's the thing. Top 4 is our goal. As much as we were saying we were not in the title race, we still looked at this run of games and we thought, we should be winning all of these. If we continue to play in the form we're playing, if we continue to play with the energy and the tactics that Maresca has shown through this run of games through December into early January, we should be winning all of these games. People could talk about title race all they want, but it would put us comfortably in position to be top 4. Now, as it stands, you've got Forest won today. Arsenal probably going to win their match. I know Villa lost, but can't remember who else is around that. I think Newcastle is close by. I think Brighton is close by. So it's like we're not guaranteed top 4 right now. So we can't just have our form drop off a cliff, because there's a good chance if that happens, we don't end up in top 4 at the end of the season. We're going to have to turn it around real quick. We can't. A draw and a loss against a lower side and then a mid to European place side is just not acceptable right now. And again, looking at the fixtures we have coming up, these are teams that we should be picking up 3 points on. So let's do that. So that way, who cares if they're saying we're in a title race? We will at least be top 4. That's what we want. That's what we're here for. It's what we will put ourselves in position to do. But with that being said, those are my thoughts on today. So let me know down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on today's game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. Also check out the channel. We have a lot of reviews on there, as well as some Let's Plays. So check those out if you have time. But until next time, hope you guys have a good day. And I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.